ring with Gary Michael Capetta to the studio and your host, Stevie Ray. Stevie?
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm here.
You are here.
Yeah, I'm here. But you know something? I've been thinking.
Yeah.
And I really don't need you here. I can do this by myself. You know, I've been thinking, you know, and when we put these things together.
Yeah.
My train of thought just wasn't there when the ideas start to get ran by me. Now, on second thought, after I've had time to really analyze the situation, I don't really know if I really need you here. I think I can do it by myself.
Listen, with all due respect, I think I'm growing on you. I really do. I think I'm growing on you. I think you're learning to love the one, Matt Topolski.
Yeah, the voice.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you call yourself?
The voice, the one.
The one.
You know, before the end of the night.
The voice is Steve Perry, former lead singer of the band Journey, who's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
Great band. Wonderful band.
The one was a kung fu movie, which I know you have no kung fu skills at all. So this is my thing. I'm going to tell you just like me and my brother told the World Warriors. That's big talk coming from somebody that stole their name from a cheap Mel Gibson movie.
Well, I'm going to do my very best to fill the shoes of the ones and the voices of the world. And I think before the series is over, you're going to learn to love me. I really do.
What I'm going to do is give you a trial basis.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've had other people contact me.
Yeah.
About this spot.
Yeah.
People that I really enjoy. People that I really like hanging out with. People that really inspire me and uplift me. You've never done that in my presence. You've never done that. The only thing you do, you go out of your way to say some of the most disturbing things known to man about me. Don't you?
Well,
I want you to admit it.
That's not
tonight.
that's not what I do at all. What I do is I enhance the story that's being told on television. Sometimes you go a little bit too far. Sometimes you even display your kung fu skills on television. We've seen you wind up a few times. We have. We've seen it. See? I see that twinkle in your eye over there.
No. I've never taken one kung fu class in my life.
Okay.
So
you're just born with it naturally.
No. Kung fu is from China.
Yeah.
I took karate.
Karate.
From Japan.
Okay.
Big difference.
Okay.
I need you to know these things. If you're going to inform people.
Yes.
You need to know these things.
Okay, well, consider me informed and consider me ready to inform the viewers and listeners tonight on our first topic ever here on Stand Up for Greatness with Stevie Ray, and that is WCW's first ever incarnation of Uncensored 1995, commonly referred to on the internets as a dumpster fire of a pay-per-view. Uncensored 1995. Stevie, take us back, if you will, in the way back time machine a little bit on this thing. What were some of your first memories when you heard of this Uncensored pay-per-view coming together?
Firstly, when I heard about Uncensored, I didn't even know exactly what it was, and I didn't even know what they meant by Uncensored. That's how WCW worked in the time. It will leave us in the dark about different things like that. As what I remember, nothing. I don't remember anything
about this. This will be a short show then.
This Uncensored.
Uncensored.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
From Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo? Tupelo, excuse me.
The birthplace of the one Elvis Presley.
Another one. Look at that.
You know.
The king,
why am I telling you? You should know all of this. You should have your notes together.
That's why you're here to inform me.
Yeah, I'm not here to inform anybody. I'm here to do this podcast and give people some real valid information on what went on in the past in WCW.
Let me ask you this. In 1995, when this pay-per-view came together, some people said that this was a response to what ECW was doing at the time. Were you anyone aware of ECW and WCW?
Yes, I was. I was a big fan of ECW.
Okay.
A huge fan of ECW. I'm a big fan of professional wrestling, regardless whether it was WWF at the time, ECW, and some of the other promotions that you would see on television. I'm a fan. You know, it's inspiring. But what I didn't like, ECW had their niche. It was crazy. That's why we loved it. We would see the barbed wire matches. We would see people fall from the roof, things of that nature, and it was just
scaffold matches.
Yes, things like that, and you go, "Wow, man!" You know, me and my brother used to look at each other and go, "Hey, we made our money in the ring, not outside the ring." But it was entertaining.
Yeah.
But every single, if you look at auto racing, there's drag racing, there's NASCAR, there's IndyCar, there's dirt. They're all racing, but they all got their own niche and style. And that's when I say, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane because you don't know how to do this.
And ECW was a demolition derby, and WCW was trying to play.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what makes you think? Now, people have seen the Nasty Boys, Stevie Ray, Booker T, go at it 1,000,000 times. But now we're doing some match, some ECW ripoff match.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Oh, we'll get there with the condiments.
You know,
we'll get there.
I mean, come on, man. So
we'll get there with the condiments because you and your brother Booker T had a match with the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs. It was a Falls Count Anywhere Texas Tornado tag team match, which involved Mustard and Cotton Candy. But before we get there, Stunning Steve Austin was on this show.
Yes.
And when we were talking before we started recording, you said you thought he may have already been gone. He faced a guy by the name of Tim Horner. What do you remember about Tim Horner?
I remember Tim Horner was a great hand. He had been in the Crockett Promotions for quite some time.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember him getting a push, a slight push back in the, like late 80s. Tim Horner was a good hand, man. And him and Steve had a pretty good match. I vaguely remember it, but I remember them having a pretty good match that night. But, and after that, I didn't see Tim too much anymore, if I can recall.
And Stunning Steve Austin, I think, left for WWF at the time. Shortly thereafter, became the ringmaster.
Right.
Stars and Stripes, Marcus Alexander Bagwell and the Patriot defeated Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck in a 10-minute tag team matchup. What do you remember about these guys?
Well, I don't remember the match.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they don't either.
But I do remember working both of those guys, both of those teams, many times. As a matter of fact, people come to me and ask me, who was the favorite people that me and my brother used to work with? And to this day, I will always say, I don't know who our favorite people were because we had several, but I can tell you who my non-favorite is. And it was Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. Nothing against those guys, but we had chemistry with so many tag teams, but we never could get that chemistry with these guys. Even though we had decent matches.
Yeah.
After the match, me and my brother would come back and we always go over everything we did and stuff like that amongst each other. And we go, man, it was just, did you feel that? And he was like, no, I didn't feel that. Wow, man, I just didn't feel comfortable. Oh, well, we do better than
Was it their style?
I don't know. To this day, I don't. Me and my brother used to pride ourselves on being able to work with any tag team. We used to pride ourselves on that. And we would come back, and if we have another match with them, we'll make it even better. But these two guys, we just kept going against it just felt like we was going against the grain. I don't know. But we had decent matches.
Yeah.
But it was always, I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it. Maybe if you were talking to my brother right now, he would be able to analyze a little better than I can. We just never did feel good.
How do you define good chemistry with another tag team? What does that look like or feel like?
It's kind of like dancing.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you just went to a dance studio and you partnered up with somebody, but you're a dancer, she's a dancer, you both are dancers, and you both know the moves, you know the tango, you know the blah, 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 you know the blah, 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 and you can go out and do them. But if you do them for like 2-3 weeks, what would you look like then?
Yeah.
That's the chemistry, and you come up with new things and how to implement them within what you're doing, things of that nature. So that's the chemistry I'm talking about. And we had good chemistry with, oh, man, so many different people, because back in those days, you go out and you work with guys for quite some time.
Yeah.
I remember working with Bagwell and Scotty Riggs Bagwell and the Patriot, you know, the Steiner brothers, the Nasty Boys. You know, we had long runs with these guys. I mean, night after night, consecutive nights, consecutive months, to the point where we know each other, you know, front and back, in and out, all around, you know, to the point where we get to a pay-per-view, we don't really have to call a whole bunch of things. We just go out and do what we've been practicing for the last 2 weeks.
When you point that out, I mean, that early to mid-'90s WCW tag division was loaded. I mean, it was absolutely loaded. I mean, I don't think there was any point that WWF or WWE had a tag division as loaded with talent as WCW did during that period of time.
And that was a very big part of the show.
Yeah.
And people loved it. But because WCW was always trying to emulate what somebody else is doing, because I think so many people didn't know what they were doing, it fell off. Mm-hmm. It fell off big time, especially when they broke us up.
Yeah.
When they broke us up, it really fell to just straight up, you know, garbage.
Yeah.
You know, to say the least, just straight up garbage.
Yeah.
And then they put us back together because everything is going down.
Right.
Well, frankly, I was like, me and my brother was like, I kind of like doing what I'm doing. He was like, hey, he kind of like doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But we were team players.
Yeah.
So we got back and did it again. You
yeah.
know? But I think that was Hogan maybe, because we was asked, I remember asking Hulk Hogan, why'd they put us back? Well, you guys were always money, man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and do it. But once they took Sherry out of the picture, we really resented that.
Yeah. And she was a big part of the picture
Yes.
in this matchup that we'll talk about here in a few minutes.
Right.
The Blacktop Bully defeated Dustin Rhodes in a King of the Road match. I'm sure you don't really remember this either, but Dustin Rhodes has had one hell of a career throughout the business. What were your impressions of Dustin?
Dustin was a heck of a hand, man.
Yeah.
Heck of a hand, man. And so was Barry Darsow. That was one of his multiple gimmicks that he had through his illustrious career.
The Blacktop Bully.
The Blacktop Bully. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. That Barry is a good friend of mine, man. And I remember them having a little angle for a while there back in those days. But sometimes, you know, I think they were just throwing stuff at the wall and see what stuck.
Yeah.
See what stuck. And Dustin was a hell of a hand. Hell of a hand.
Yeah.
I mean, and so was Barry. But, you know, I vaguely remember that match. If you really want to be, I vaguely remember that whole pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember the match we had.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember 1995.
Yeah. Well, listen, the details are coming. Trust me. Jim Duggan was involved in this thing. Now, he was in WWF forever.
Right.
What do you remember of Hacksaw Jim Duggan's run in WCW?
Hey, I remember when Duggan came in.
Yeah.
And them putting one of the titles on him.
Was it a U.S. title?
I think so. And I think it was Steve Austin that had it. I think it was Steve Austin that had the title. And I remember them putting it on Jim Duggan. And I think I can't remember who he had an angle with at the time. But I remember that's when Ric Flair had the book at the time. And I remember we came to a TV. No, it wasn't TV taping. It was we do a lot of interviews and things of that nature. And I remember Steve Austin really getting upset that they were taking the belt off him and putting it on
Duggan?
On Duggan, if I remember correctly. And I remember.
Was this a Saturday night taping?
No, we wasn't taping. This was early in the day. We have to do interviews.
Oh, okay.
You know, multiple interviews and things like that. And I think Steve was hurt or injured, and he was just coming back. And I just remember in the back, he going off, just, you know, pissed off. And I remember, I can't remember what one of the cronies to come tell him. It wasn't Ric Flair. It was somebody he had told to come tell him, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're going to do blah, blah, blah. And I remember that. And I remember shortly after that, he wasn't there anymore.
Steve wasn't there anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember Duggan with the title.
Yeah.
So that's the ins and outs of the great
Bad move on WCW's part, in retrospect.
I think so.
I would think so
Steve
as well.
Austin, hell of a hand, man.
Yeah.
But boy can go.
Johnny B. Bad competed against Arn Anderson with Colonel Parker in his corner in a boxer versus wrestler match. Now, you stated before we got started here, we were talking about Johnny B. Bad a little bit off air, that he was a former Golden Gloves champion and one hell of a fighter.
He was. So, why would you do a boxers versus wrestlers match?
I didn't book it. This is WCW.
So,
yeah.
Isn't that the same thing Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor are doing right now?
Floyd and Big Show, his most memorable fight.
I think it was his most memorable fight.
See, we agree on something.
You know, I think it was. That's the only thing I can remember Floyd Mayweather being in was a match against the Big Show. Is that something? The guy had 49 fights, and I can't remember one of them.
His toughest opponent.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great.
Big Show.
And I give Floyd Mayweather all the kudos in the world. He looked great. I would have paid money to see it.
I think Floyd's a future episode.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
But getting back to what we were just talking about, I mean, look at the creative prowess of a boxer versus a wrestler. But this man is now a wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's not a boxer anymore. So why would you do something that lame?
It's uncensored. Anything goes.
So that means the boxer could have came in there with no gloves on and just beat his opponent senseless.
You would think so.
Yeah. Why would you have rules? It's uncensored.
Yeah.
So that means let's get in the ring. Before you even get in the ring, I'm knocking you out.
I don't know. I mean, there was a time where WCW would disqualify an opponent if they threw someone over the top rope. So
there was a time WCW would disqualify somebody, didn't even realize they disqualified them. Okay? That was WCW. And go, oh, what happened? I disqualified him. You know, referee disqualified the guy. Well, you told me to disqualify. Okay.
That was WCW.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Savage defeated Avalance, who at one time was also called the Shark. If you remember this was John Tenta.
Yeah.
So
I
Earthquake,
that.
the Shark, Avalanche, and I'm sure a few other incarnations I'm forgetting as well.
You know, do you know John Tenta was a real sumo wrestler in Japan?
Didn't know that.
You know what? I'm tired of you, Matt Topolski, coming into these arrangements, these engagements.
This is a pilot.
And you, pilot or no
this
pilot?
Is pilot. I'm learning.
You know,
I'm learning on the fly here from you.
You need to do your homework if you're going to talk about these are great wrestlers, great friends of mine, people that I worked with.
Ask me again.
I'm not asking you anything again.
Yes, I do.
What I'm going to do is tell you, this man was a real athlete. This man was a highly capable sumo wrestler from America, and he went to Japan and displayed his skills. So in the ring, this man could tear a person apart, and nobody really knew that because he had such a great personality.
Yeah.
I've only seen this man upset once in my life.
Or because WCW gave him a ridiculous gimmick like the Shark.
Yeah.
Which is just outrageous.
And I remember him saying that. I'm not a shark. I'm a man. I remember him saying that. I'm a man. I'm not a shark. I'm not a typhoon or whatever earthly destruction that can come, or earthquake or volcano or, atom bomb, things blow up, he wasn't any of those.
Yeah.
He was a man, and he was my friend. And I'm not going to have you messing his name up.
I'm not messing his name up. This was WCW. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for John Tenta, who, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, was a very successful sumo wrestler in Japan. So,
I dare you.
Newsflash.
I dare you. I dare you. If John Tenta was here right now, you know what he'd do? He'd rip your head off.
He probably would, yeah.
He'd rip your head off the night me and my brother seen him upset.
What happened? Why was he upset?
Well, okay, I'll tell you why he was upset, since you want to know.
It's story
so
time, yeah.
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 I can't remember what went on that night because me and my brother wasn't out there. A lot of times WCW had the knack of putting me and my brother on late at night. We was doing one of these shows from Club La Vila down in Florida. And they had this big pool, big spring break.
That's where they put the ring in the middle and they had the pool around it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, apparently an angle was going on that night, and you know the show is 2-3 hours long, and me and my brother waiting for the last match. I don't even remember who we worked with. I just remember they had trailers for us to dress in and things of that nature. I mean, it was no big deal. That's part of the show. But apparently John Tenta was going to be involved. You might want to look this up. I don't know if he was going to be involved with the Four Horsemen in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But they changed the angle on the telecast without telling him.
Okay.
Now, this is what he told us. Me and my brother, the last two people in the trailer. So we just waiting for somebody to come tell us, hey, it's time to go to the ring. Next thing we know, it's like me and you right now. The only people in the room, and we sitting there waiting. We warmed up 50,000 times, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, the door pops open. Bam! Goddamn motherfucker! And me and my brother sitting there like, what's wrong with Tenta? That son of a bitch, I'll stretch his fucking ass. Me and my brother kind of reluctant to ask him, who is this person that you actually ticked off
Who's the
right
dead
now?
man walking?
Yeah. Now you got to realize, John Tenta, a big man.
Yeah.
Tall, huge. He's throwing stuff. He's hitting the wall. He's livid. So me and my brother go, John, calm down, man. What's up? That son of a bitch, he said blah, blah, blah. And he was talking about Arn Anderson. Now, I've never had a conversation with Arn Anderson about it because when I was growing up, my mother would always tell me and my brother, stay out of grown folks' business. So my name is Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Good advice.
But Tenta is a friend, and we were trying to calm him down. The man was red. That's how mad he was. Well, apparently, from what I could gather, I don't know, but from what we could gather from him, apparently Arn came and did a promo, and he said something about they're not ready. Some words to that effect like, well, he's not ready, or they're not ready. And Tenta said when he said that in the interview, Arn Anderson looked at him. And I guess whatever the anger was has been squashed, and he didn't know until that moment.
I think this is it right here.
Okay.
Okay, so following a match with the Dungeon of Doom's giant, Big Bubba Rogers, who had just joined the dungeon, shaved half of John Tenta's head. Tenta said he wouldn't shave off the other half because he looked in the mirror and relived the embarrassment. He would get the mail and his neighbors were laughing. The two went on to feud with one another, with Rogers shaving off Tenta's beard as well after Tenta lost another match to the Giant. In the spring of 1997, Tenta joined Rowdy Piper as a member of his, quote, family. The angle was quickly dropped, and Piper instead joined forces with the Four Horsemen, dropping the members of the family. Tenta left WCW shortly thereafter.
Right.
So
maybe that was it.
That
like
might
I
explain
said,
it. I would be pissed too if I got my head
never had
shaved.
any conversation with anyone about it.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm out of it. But this man was ready to kill somebody.
Yeah.
What went on out there, I never even seen the show, so I really can't recall it because I never saw that show.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason. But I just remember this guy, man, I never seen anybody this pissed off since I've been in the professional wrestling business. I've seen guys get into it, and I've seen guys get mad, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Not like this.
But that's the most pissed off you've ever seen anyone?
Firstly, from a man that I've never seen upset before.
Yeah. It's always the quiet ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super quiet. Me and my brother always used to talk to him about Orlando because he lives in Orlando.
Yeah.
So we would always go, hey, John, what's going on in Orlando? You know, blah, blah, blah. You know, just joking. You know, we do Jim Duggan the same way because he lives down there near Orlando. and we would see stuff on the news and go, you know something, man, I was coming down there to visit you, but there's too much crime down there where you live, you know. Just messing with him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was a cool guy. And then as he's boiling over, oh, expletive this, expletive that, son of a bitch, I will do this, I will stretch this. He doesn't know, I will do this, I will. And we're trying to figure out who. And he said, Arn Anderson, that's who. And, you know, Arn, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? I've got utmost respect for Arn Anderson. And all of a sudden, he's tearing the place up, hitting the wall. The door, because, you know, trailers got a door on this end, a door on this end. The door opens on this end. It's Arn Anderson.
Oh, no.
Arn looks in and sees, oh, he just closes the door right back.
Did Tenta see him? Did he?
No.
Oh, he didn't see him.
And
Okay.
me and my brother didn't tell him either. Me and my brother saw him. His back was turned. He was tearing something up on the other end. So when the door opened, Arn could hear this.
Yeah. And he already knows why he's pissed.
I think so.
Yeah, so.
And me and my brother looked. We were about to say, dog, don't come in here.
Yeah.
You know, we looked at each other like, wow.
Yeah.
So shortly after that, he finally calmed down a little. Then that's when they came to get us, to take us, you know, into, hey, it's time for you guys to go, Ralph. We never mentioned it. We just kind of laugh about it for a while, you know, amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
But, man, that's, I'll never forget that. Never forget it. That's my boy, man. God rest his soul, man. But
John Tenta.
he was my boy, man. But the match that he had that night, I don't remember it, bro. I don't remember it. It was probably some gag.
Yeah, well, it was Randy Savage, and he defeated him by disqualification.
Right.
Big Bubba Rogers, also known as the Big Boss Man, defeated Sting in a singles match. This was a big moment for Big Bubba Rogers on WCW.
And what type of match was that?
Just has it listed as a singles match. But, of course, I mean, it's uncensored.
Right.
So,
Everything goes.
Anything goes.
So, you know, who knows what would have went on in that match. But I don't remember it.
Yeah.
No. You know, that night had me so discombobulated that I'm sorry. It's a lot of things on that thing I don't remember. But that's just
here, I'm sure you remember this. So the match before the main event of the evening featured the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, versus a team I think you're familiar with, Harlem Heat, Booker T, your brother, and you, Stevie Ray, with Sister Sherry, in a Falls Count Anywhere Texas Tornado tag team match for the tag team championships. This matchup had it all, Stevie. It had condiments. It had cotton candy. It had concession stands, fake prop concession stands.
Oh, were they fake?
Well, I
they
mean,
kind of look like the ones I see at those buildings all the time. Were they fake? I wasn't aware of that.
This was one of the great.
I wasn't aware of that.
This is one of the great gimmicks of the mid 1990s in WCW. Almost every single pay-per-view, without fail, there would be some sort of concession stand being torn apart by somebody at this point. So, take me through this matchup. When you guys first started talking about the match itself, laying it out and all that, and did it go according to plan?
Frankly, I don't know. I mean, frankly, I do not know. I don't remember. But I remember the match.
You remember the mustard?
Yeah, I remember that bullshit mustard, but and ketchup and pickles.
Yeah.
And fake hot dogs. No, I think the hot dogs were actually real.
Yeah.
You know, but
do you remember what was going through your head when you were trying to smother one of the Nasty Boys with cotton candy?
No, I do not.
You were just trying to get through it?
I mean, no, I was working. I was working. I'm going to tell you what I think was going through my head at the time.
Okay.
What the fuck am I doing here? That's what was going in my head. What the hell are we doing? That's what was going through my head. This is a gag. This is a joke. Harlem Heat, we kind of prided ourselves on being two bad dudes from the hood.
And here you are in a food fight with the Nasty Boys.
This is comical. And it was a ripoff of something they had saw on another show. And they figured, well, let's get these guys together.
Another wrestling show? Or
Yes.
Just, okay.
Yes, like ECW.
Okay.
Which those guys, that's their stick. Mm-hmm. That's not our stick. We never liked it, but like I told you, we were team players.
Yeah.
But everybody else loved it. They thought it was so funny. fans will come up to us, for years. Oh, I love the match that you had with the Nasty Boys, and you guys went through all the concessions, and you for the ketchup and the relish and the mustard. I thought it was so funny. And whoever that person is, I just want to knock their fucking teeth out. Think that bullshit is funny. Shit is garbage. But
was that the worst match you ever had?
I'm here to please the fans.
Yeah.
They didn't know how we felt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, now they do.
Well, yeah, they do.
What was that the worst match you were ever part of?
For me, yes.
Okay.
Because my heart wasn't in it. Neither was my brother. But we would never let anybody know that.
Mm-hmm.
We would never let anybody know that. We were – thing about us, even if we didn't like it, we're going to try to make the best of it.
Yeah.
We never sit down in a match. We never sit down. And because that was just the pride in us. It was kind of like a you against you thing, If we're going to do some circus act, we're going to be the best circus act out here doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. But deep down inside, brother, it was what it was. Sherry got involved. A lot of stuff Sherry did, we didn't. I think she just implemented herself.
Well, she was slipping and falling on her ass during the match because there was ketchup and mustard and relish everywhere.
And so were we.
Yeah.
I almost pulled my groin one time in the back, and I slipped on some of this bullshit. Because you can't rehearse.
You guys were working on concrete
right.
with condiments all over the floor. Yeah.
You can't rehearse this.
Well, you get one trial run.
As a matter of fact, we didn't know anything about what was going to happen that night till that night.
Well, that might explain why the match went the way it did.
Well, no, we made the best of it. What I'm just saying, most companies strategically plan these kind of things out. Because like I said, we could have got seriously injured because, like I said, I slightly pulled my groin when I slipped in the back where those concession stands and all that crap was. Because we hadn't really – I've been on the set of commercials, okay? I've done commercials. I've been in a couple of small-budget movies. Everything is step by step, and they tell you where you're going to be when everything goes down. This should have been the same way. But they just wing it like some outlaw show. When you see these kids doing these outlaw shows, they just wing it, go out there and do it. Oh, we're going to do a table match. Oh, we're going to do a ladder match. For what?
Backyard wrestling.
Because I saw it on television.
Yeah.
It was the same way and the same mentality.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully they got what they got out of it. And like we said, we're team players. But we wouldn't. I tell you this, if they had ever asked us to do another one, me and my brother had already told each other we were going to say, fuck you. We ain't doing it. Get somebody else out there to do this bullshit. So that's what happened.
With the exception of that matchup, what was it like to work with the Nasty Boys? And they have a reputation, at least on the dirt sheets or the podcast sphere, as being a little stiff.
Yeah, they are stiff.
Yeah.
They are stiff. A little. But that's just the way they work.
Yeah. So there was chemistry there. They were decent dance partners.
Me and my brother can be as stiff as anybody.
Okay.
But a lot of times they're stiff, but they're not. It's not predetermined to be stiff. Mm-hmm. They're just stiff.
Yeah.
But it's not anything malicious. We loved it. Me and my brother like working snug anyway.
It's realism.
Yeah. We loved it. So we love working with them. Brian Knobs and Jerry Saggs are two of my best friends in the business. A lot of people don't know. Me and Brian Knobs used to ride up and down the highway together for a short period of time. I love the guy, Saggs also. But, man, we loved working with them. Loved it. We loved it. It was great. It was great. People loved to see the Nasty Boys against Harlem Heat. People loved it. Yeah. And we had good matches, good, snug matches. And that's what people liked. And we liked it also.
Yeah.
Never had a problem. We only had a problem with them once. I think that was in Birmingham, Alabama one night. We got into a big argument over something. I can't even remember what it was. I think it started out with Jerry and my brother and ended up all four of us. But I remember Arn Anderson kind of coming in between us. And that was the only I was the only problem that we ever had with them, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it was bigger than what it really was. I can't remember what happened, but it was started out that way. Because I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was. I was talking with someone and said, "Man, I remember when I first came in and you guys was in the back arguing with the Nasty Boys. I didn't know what was happening. I just got out of there." I can't remember who said that to me one day. He just said, "I knew it was about to go down, so I got out of there."
It was John Tenta.
No, when John hadn't got there yet. John would have cleaned the room up. We would told everybody, sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
While I'm chilling, because the man chilled until he got ready to work, man.
During that period of time, like let's take 1995 here. Who were some of the more demonstrative personalities in the locker room? Like, who were were there leaders in the locker room? Were there guys that people would turn to? Like you said, Arn Anderson separated people. Was he one of them?
No. Arn was one of the leaders.
Okay.
At one time. As time went on, me and my brother became leaders.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, at times. But most of the guys, Dallas Page. He became a good dressing room leader. Some guys just love to help people. Dallas has always had one of those
that's clear
mentalities.
Yeah.
That he wants to see everybody succeed. If he knows anything about something going on, he'll come tell you, "Hey, brother, blah, 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 you better blah, blah." He's that kind of dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
I always respected him for that, A lot of people has always had different things to say about Dallas, the way he came up in the ranks. But, hey, you do what you got to do, and you take advantage of your opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Man took advantage of his opportunities, and I don't have anything to say bad about that. But he was always an up-and-up guy, always an up-and-up guy. Arn Anderson, always an up-and-up guy, always the guy that will come talk to you about certain things, what he wanted to see out of you, this, that, and the other. Paul Orndorff, another one, would always pull you to the side and tell you blah, blah, blah. We had a few of them. Had a few of them. But the guys that you think would be leaders, like the Stings, the Lex Lugers, and things of that, they wasn't really. Not that they were bad guys. They were just into their thing. What I'm saying? They were into their thing, and cool guys. You could talk to them about anything.
Yeah.
But
they would withdraw from any sort of locker room drama or anything like that. Or
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Most people do.
Yeah.
Most people do. And I remember the Nasty Boys getting into it with Bobby Walker. Bobby Walker was one of the up-and-coming African-American wrestlers that kind of came in around the same time me and my brother came in. And he was the son of Thunderbolt Patterson.
Okay.
And apparently he was in a match with the Nasty Boys. I don't know. That's when we used to film and tape at Center Stage downtown Atlanta. I mean, I think me and my brother had already worked, so we wasn't – I don't know what happened between them, but apparently when they came back to the back, the Nasty Boys had a problem with something that had went on in the ring with Bobby Walker, and I guess they kind of, stepped to him. And, I heard the ruckus. By the time we went out there, it was all over. And I remember vaguely, I don't know, it was something that he did that they didn't like. That happens all the time. Yeah. But they were trying to impose their will.
Like they felt like he didn't have the right to do it because he wasn't tenured yet. Or,
exactly. Something of that nature, kind of bullshit that happens all the time. Kind of same shit that has happened with me and my brother, with different guys, And but I remember Pez Watley got light of it. He wasn't there that night. Pez Watley was one, used to be one of the wrestlers in the Crockett promotion, and he one of the trainers down at the power plant. And he came to me and my brother one day. We was at another TV taping a few days later. He was like, "Hey man, why didn't you guys help Bobby?" Help Bobby with what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when the Nasty Boys tried to jump on Bobby, why y'all didn't? First of all, we wasn't even back there. Secondly, Bobby probably would have whooped both of their ass at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what the fuck?
He didn't need our help.
What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have helped anybody.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have let it go down.
Yeah.
I ain't finna help. No, I don't know Bobby Walker.
Yeah.
I know him now. I mean, he was cool then, but, I knew him about as much as I knew the Nasty Boys at the time.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I wasn't finna let nobody. I ain't gonna let two guys jump on one guy. That's out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure if I was there, I would have intervened. You know, like, hey man, no, don't do this. You got to realize I'm from the club business. You know, people used to pay me to clean clubs up. So that's what I did for a living for a long time. Say, like, if a guy like you that was in the club messing up, starting a lot of ruckus,
Yeah.
you know, and had too many to drink.
Yeah. That's not me.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could have been you.
That's not this guy.
Yeah, it could have been you.
Yeah.
And then when I see you and I slap that squeeze and I'm put that squeeze.
You feel the squeeze, McCain?
Oh, I would have loved if it was you in there, you know, starting ruckus. I would have put a full Nelson squeeze, throw you in the room where we throw all the patriots that are doing ill-advised things. And when you woke up in Ben Top the next morning.
Yeah, I would have looked like CM Punk.
Oh,
yeah.
No. That's too good for you. That's too good for you. So in essence, you know, that's what I did for a living. So, you know, I'm not going to let anybody, you know, get into something like that. So it was just funny, man. I guess Pez figured you guys are black. Bobby Walker's black. Why you guys didn't help him?
Yeah.
I didn't even see it, you know, but I heard it, but I didn't know who it was. You know, by the time we got there, it was all over. But hey, that's the trials and tribulations of pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's the politics of backstage. So we talked about the Nasty Boys. We talked about tag teams that you've had some issues working with. What were some of the tag teams that you and your brother enjoyed working with when you were together as Harlem Heat?
Like I said, pretty much everybody.
Okay.
Everybody we enjoyed working with.
Was there any team in
That's why I said earlier, I can't really tell you who I enjoyed the most.
Okay.
I can tell you who I didn't.
Okay.
That's easier for me.
Okay.
So whoever we worked with, man, we had a good time. Me and my brother was just about having a good time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, going out here and doing our jobs, and we had fun. We tried to make our nights fun on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter who it was in the other corner because our focus was on what we do. And if our focus is to make you look good, we went out and made you look good. You know, and that's what we liked.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter, you know.
There's some people that feel like tag team wrestling today, and in many respects, I'm certainly one of them, they feel like it's sort of a lost art form.
It is.
So, I mean, in that sense, what do you think are some of the components that's missing from what we see in tag team wrestling today, whether it be NXT or WWE or TNA or whatever, compared to what was happening in WCW when you were there?
Well, to be honest, me and my brother came up watching the Fantastics.
Okay.
The Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express. We loved watching those guys. A lot of people don't know this. I mean, I'm going to be the first one to say it today. We pretty much made a template of those three teams and implemented it into Harlem Heat.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know this.
Wow. I don't think anyone knows that other than you and Booker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's who we love to watch. Bobby Eaton, Dennis Condrey, Ricky and Robert, who's going into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Who has done straight shooting with Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
I may add.
On KCOH.
Yes. KCOH 92.9 FM HD2.
Every Wednesday.
Holla at your boy. But be that as it may. Hey, look, I don't need you doing the promos. I'll do the promos, okay?
Okay.
All right. You know, that's every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. But we came up watching the tag teams from that era, even though there were many of them. And this is when the era when you didn't see a tag team guy in a singles match. You always seen him in a tag match. Every blue moon, every once or twice a year, something might go down where he might have to wrestle in a single match. But other than that, they were doing their thing in tag matches. And the tag matches were so exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting back then, you know. I mean, so a lot of people think that, you know, we loved Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. We loved them. But we didn't love them like the Midnight Express. And I'll be the first to say, the Midnight Express was our favorite tag team.
What was it about them specifically that you guys wanted to emulate?
They were precision.
Okay.
They just knew what the other one was doing all the time. And when me and my brother first became a tag team, because you got to realize we never wanted to be a tag team. We never had any inclination of being a tag team. That just happened because I went up to Global for a tryout, and I told my brother to come with me. And we go up for the tryout. They wanted to look at me, actually, and they didn't know I had a brother. And I'm trying to think of who.
What year would this be about?
91.
Okay.
92, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert had the book. So when I go into his office.
Was this when they were filming in Vegas?
No, they were filming in Dallas.
Oh, in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I go in to have a meeting with him. My brother walks in behind me. He goes, "Who's this?" That's my brother. He goes, "Your brother? Nobody told me you had a brother." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Does he work?" I said, "Yeah." "How long has he been working?" I said, "We started at the same time." And he was sitting in his chair, and he goes, "Huh. You guys just gave me an idea. Come back next week." Okay. So I was like, okay. We drove all the way up here, waited all night for the taping to be over, for to come back next week and do it all over again. Mm-hmm. And we did it all over again the next week. And he said, "Hey, I've been looking for a babyface tag team. And I think you guys fit the bill. I want to be well-spoken, well-dressed, and I'm looking to push a tag team like that. You guys think y'all can do that?" And we would go, "Yeah." He said, "Y'all ever tagged before?" And we go, "Yeah, we tagged many times." We had never tagged before.
Yeah.
But we wasn't lying because we had tagged against each other.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we didn't lie to him.
He wasn't specific enough.
He wasn't specific enough.
Yeah.
So we was like, "Oh yeah, we've tagged many times, blah blah blah." Never tagged before, ever. But we knew the dynamics of tag team wrestling because we've tagged before. So we just had to learn how to do it with each other. He would be playing the other part from the other side, and I would be playing the other part from the other side, and we just do it together. Mm-hmm. And that's when we got to pushing global, and that's where it started, and Harlem Heat is what it is.
And the rest is history.
Right.
And the rest is history. And speaking of history, this is the final match before we put Uncensored 1995 to bed.
To bed forever.
Forever. Hulk Hogan.
Forever.
Hulk Hogan with the Renegade, which we'll talk about in a minute,
man.
versus Big Van Vader with Ric Flair in his corner. Earlier in the night, Ric Flair cut a promo in which he was wearing nail polish because he was dressed like a woman earlier in the evening.
Right.
What do you remember of this? Of Ric Flair?
Do remember him coming out as a woman.
Yes.
I do remember that, and we all got a big kick out of that. I remember that. Rick is a character, man. But, hey, I don't know who was thinking up these angles. Apparently, they needed a lot of help. But, hey, man, it is what it is. I do remember Rick coming out with the wig and a big dress on. He has big boobs out to here. He comes in and jumps in the ring. I don't remember what happened, man. I just remember the sight of that. And, man, that was one of the funniest things I've had ever seen in the professional wrestling ranks in my life to this day. Loved it. Loved it.
Could have been the highlight of Uncensored.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for you smothering one of your competitors with cotton candy.
I don't remember the cotton
Obviously,
candy.
Yeah.
I mean, did I do that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. We'll pull it up afterwards. You can relive this great moment.
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to forget. Why do you want me to relive agony? Huh? Why do you want me to do
it's
that?
agony for you, but for the viewers and for myself,
What you mean the
beautiful.
viewers?
It's beautiful. It was like poetry.
Yeah.
You and Booker T and the Nasty Boys and Sherry and a food fight and concessions. It's just beautiful.
You call that beautiful?
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
I call that desperate.
Speaking of desperate, so WCW decided they wanted to rip off the Ultimate Warrior gimmick and put it on a competitor by the name of the Renegade.
My buddy Rick. Man, Rick was a good dude.
Yeah.
God rest his soul also. Rick is no longer with us. And you know, that gimmick, man. I mean, I don't know who came up with that. I guess they wanted this. Oh, I just didn't see. Sometimes people just can't see. Some things are better left alone. And trying to emulate the Ultimate Warrior and that thing that they had with Vince, it was counterproductive.
Yeah, and they gave him a massive push when they brought him in too.
Right.
They put a title on him and all that
then
stuff.
they took it off him as fast as they put him on him, and they never really did anything with him again.
Yeah.
It was almost like he was just there for that. And that can be very disheartening for a young man, that you come in this business, you're just learning how to do it, and next thing you know, you're getting the biggest push in the world with the biggest names in the world.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, that's like being on the road. You got one hit, and you on the road with Aretha Franklin, going all over the city. Now, when your record bears down, nobody writes you another one. Now, who are you? Back in Palookaville again. That's hard to deal with in any form of entertainment business.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have the mindset to deal with it, but a lot of people don't. And to this day, I always thought that kind of pushed Rick in the wrong way. I hope I'm wrong, but just from talking to him a lot, he just didn't have the same. He was a real, kind of quiet guy, but he's, cool guy. Then all of a sudden, he was just kind of like there, almost like. So you never know. You never know. This is just one man's opinion, but
and certainly no fault of his own, because he fully committed.
My point.
He fully committed.
Yes.
I mean, this was WCW ripping off another gimmick. It
Right.
wasn't as if he came up with this idea to begin with.
Exactly.
He had a job to do, and he did it to the best of his ability.
Right. And it was what it was, man. But once it was over, it was over. I mean, I think they kind of maybe start doing jobs for people. You the guy beating, going over on top guys. Then all of a sudden, wow, you're just a guy that's here.
Yeah.
So I know that can be disheartening for a young man that got that push so quick. So, God rest his soul, man. Rick was a good dude, man. I miss him. He was good people.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad he was put in that position, but what else? I mean, that's just another WCW fuck up, and I don't mind saying it.
Yeah.
It's just another fucking people that don't have the talent to think up really good angles and gimmicks to do on professional wrestling. And I don't want to sound disgruntled, but I'm disgruntled for the product we could have had, not that we did have.
Yeah. Because, I mean, my God, there was so much
better.
talent. I mean, even
Yes.
what we're talking about here, and it was just this entire pay-per-view was just a mess.
It was a mess in a lot of ways. And like I said, it's easy to look at other shit and try to rip it off. How hard is that? How hard is that?
Yeah.
It's not hard at all. That's just like trying to run somebody else's offense in the NFL. You didn't think it up, and you'll never be able to do it as good as the person that thought it up. Get your own offense.
Yeah. So
Seriously. So in the entertainment business, what they always say, flattery,
imitation.
imitation is the purest form of flattery, or however it goes.
Yeah.
My ass. Okay. Shit. My ass. I think it's certain things you can pick from, but to try to grasp the whole tree, shave a few leaves off, and then say, hey.
Yeah.
I never thought that worked. And I'm like a historian when it comes to professional wrestling. I remember so many of the great angles and gimmicks that you go, man, that was funny. I remember leaving an autograph thing I was doing up in New York, New Jersey. It's a few years back. And somebody was taking me back to the airport. And it was me, Freebird Buddy Roberts, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. I don't have a very good memory for things like that. But me and Buddy were talking, and we were talking about professional wrestling today and some of the things we miss about it. And a lot of people don't remember when he had an angle in the Mid-South with Jim Duggan. And Jim Duggan beat him, okay? And he had to shave all his hair off. So he comes back to at the next TV taping the next week. He's got a wig on, okay? And he was adamant about, this is my hair. This is my hair. You know, what do you mean? This is not my hair. Well, you got your hair. I didn't get my hair shaved. This is my hair. And Kurt Angle did that same gimmick in WWE. You remember that?
Yeah, and had the headgear on for a while to keep it touch. Yeah.
Oh my God, was that?
Yeah.
What I'm saying was, can be new again if it's done the right way.
Right.
And
it's more of an homage, whereas Uncensored was just a bastardization of ECW's product.
Trying to be.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're doing.
And when many people thought ECW was a bastardization of professional wrestling altogether.
Right.
So,
but it's
a bastard's bastard.
There's no rules and regulations how you want to run a wrestling organization.
Yeah. Who was writing or in charge of booking at that period of time? Do you remember who any of those people were?
At one time, Kevin Sullivan. Then it was one time they was going through a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I think we had our best. I don't know when we had.
Bill Watts still there at that point?
No, he wasn't.
No.
I just think they had the bookers. I think the bookers, like Kevin Sullivan, were doing their job, but it was too much on him. Whereas they should have had other people, and maybe they did have a few people, but I don't think these people were very imaginative when it comes to anything in the entertainment business. Has to get fresh, and it has to adapt as pop culture goes on. That's any form of entertainment.
Yeah.
Movies today are not like movies in the 70s. Music today is not like music in the 80s. Hip-hop today is not like the Run DMCs and the Kool Moe Dees and the Public Enemies. These people don't even know who these guys are. And these guys are pioneers. Now you don't even have to rhyme to make a hip-hop record. When you were coming up, if you didn't know how to rhyme and put words together, you were nothing, a nobody, a never will be. That's the evolution of the entertainment business when it comes to hip-hop music.
Yeah.
Okay, a guy like Prince, first time somebody listened to his demo, you know what they said to him? You got a hell of a band, bro. Sounds good. I did all the instruments. I don't have a band. That's a different kind of dude. Now, what kind of a dude like that today would make a dime? You know why? There's no music like that anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is this.
Yeah.
Everything is that.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. Well,
that's the evolution of entertainment.
In many respects, the gatekeepers are gone. Anybody can be a YouTube celebrity now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's amazing.
I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
It's amazing. You look back at this card. You had Steve Austin. You had Dick Slater. You had Dustin Rhodes. You had Jim Duggan.
Hall of Famers.
You had Randy Savage. You had Bubba Rogers. You had Sting. You had the Nasty Boys. You had yourself, Stevie Ray, and Booker T. You had Hulk Hogan. You had Vader. And you had Ric Flair all on one show.
One show.
And if you were to put that together today, there would be no way that you couldn't call that a WrestleMania. But this was Uncensored 1995, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. Any parting shots, Stevie?
I will never, ever. Well, this is what I said back then. I would never, ever participate in anything like that in my life again. Because if you really know what you're doing, you don't have to resort to bullshit. The real mind, the real glowing mind, can always come up with new shit, fresh shit, and make it happen. When you don't have that kind of talent around you, one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
You ain't like the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's been around for 100 years.
Yeah. Well,
laying it down.
You know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and you can find it on the WWE Network. You can get Stevie Ray at the Stevie Ray on Twitter. Send him a tweet. Let him know what topics you'd like to be featured in future episodes.
Yeah, send me some tweets. Get on Facebook. My Facebook followers know. Let me know what you want to hear. And, brother, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be about it, and we ain't holding nothing back. You want some opinions about certain people? I give you opinions about certain people. A lot of people don't like me. I don't give a shit.
This is Stand Up for Greatness with Stevie Ray. I'm Matt Topolski.